Hello and welcome to PlayStation Racer. My name is Mitchell Morgan and welcome to this next video in my series of World Circuit races. This is going to be the World Touring Car 600 in Tokyo, one of the big ones. This is one of the grinding tracks where we can get 825,000 credits for a clean race. I've just set the difficulty to hard, which is the one that we're using for all of these races. And then we'll just dive into the race. We're going to pick up the Aston Martin DP-100 VGT. This is a really good car around here. Need to set the output adjustment to 76, the ballast to 54, and the power output to 76, or the power restrictor to 76. That's just to bring us into the PP rating because the Aston Martin is slightly too much. So this is 12 laps of the Tokyo Expressway. We're going to have to really go for it in this particular race. But the whole idea is just to get the gold trophy. Not too worried about clean race bonuses and things like that. We just really want to go gold. So we open up halfway down, or not quite halfway down, this main straight. And you really want to be trying to slipstream cars as much as possible. You will close quite quickly. So just make sure that you pick your overtake, and then normally you can jump quite a few cars, but you need to be very, very careful to get it slowed down for this tight right-hander, which is after the bump as you go up the hill. And you can see there I'm hard on the brakes and just getting up alongside a couple of cars. And then as we go around the top here, there's a big old line of cars, so we're out of position really, using those hatchings just to do another car on the way through there. And this is all really about just trying to get through the slower cars as quickly as we can. So similar to most, you can see it's a little bit damp, and I've got the sports medium tyres fitted to this car. The sports medium tyres give the car just a little bit of grip in these damp conditions. If you go for the racing slick tyres, it is going to slide all over the place. So these tyres, whilst it seems a strange choice, they do give you just that little bit more grip to get you around the track as quickly as you can. So as I said, there's 12 laps to this particular race, so we've got loads of time to actually look at how I approach the braking and turning and the gears on this particular one. As usual, when I'm trying to get through the traffic and I'm trying to stay out of walls and I'm trying not to bump the cars too much, my gears and my braking points are adjusted dynamically as I'm racing according to the traffic and the conditions. And you can see there that we've just caught a whole load of cars all together. I mean, we were running an 8th and I could see the 4th place position up ahead. In fact, I can see even more than that down the road. So quite a large number of cars, and as we come up towards the line to cross that for the first time, we have managed to get ourselves up into 6th position and closing very quickly on the two cars in front. Again, trying to pick up a slipstream. We are about 0.8 of a second behind, so we should be getting a little bit of a tow from these guys, although not catching them too much at the moment. Just being very careful with the few puddles that there are. Looking for a braking point as we go up the hill and then turning in. I will cover those in a moment, but I just want to get through the a few more cars. So we'll probably go through the lap and the next lap around. I am narrating this after the race. I did need to concentrate quite a lot, especially when you're going through these little tight, fast sections. It's exhilarating running this when you get it absolutely spot on and right. It is absolutely wonderful and it feels brilliant, but there is a lot of opportunity, in particular because this is a street race. There is a lot of opportunity to put it into the barrier, and also the overtaking opportunities can be a little bit minimal because it is so tight. So you've got to be very, very precise on when you do an overtake. And we've gone up the inside of the Porsche there. The Porsche went slightly wide, but you can see now that I've got blocked with these two cars in front. The Subaru in front was taking a bit of a defensive line, but we've got two cars there that are running together, and we need to be very, very careful about where we make our move on these. Probably going to be best just to hang back a little bit and then see if we can overtake these guys on the long straight. So for here, I'm just trying to close up. There's an opportunity presented itself to overtake the Subaru, so we took that. Although the Subaru's fighting back, but I think that we've actually got that one done. Yes, we have, which is good. So take the opportunities when you can, but otherwise slipstreaming down this long straight. So at the moment we're just going full power, just trying to get up to speed as quickly as we can. Fifth gear at the moment. Really I want to be over to the right a little bit more and slipstreaming Fraga in front. Minded that the Subaru is coming back at us again, just using the mirror to use alongside us. So the Subaru got a better exit at that last corner, or certainly got better speed down the long straight. So here I'm just watching for just before you get that little part where the track rises up, down into third gear, and then just feathering the throttle as needed. Off the throttle now, just a little bit of brake just to balance it, staying in third gear and just trying to get on the back of Fraga as much as we can. Up in a fourth, and then as we get through here again, just throttling the feathering the accelerator a little bit. He gets a bit wide. That's going to give us an opportunity for a run. That opportunity disappeared as we almost ran into the wall, and the Subaru's coming back at us. But third gear through here, just staying over to the left, sweeping across to the right, and then drifting back out to the left again, up into fourth. And as we go through here, I'm looking for the bridge over the top of us, and just a little bit of brake just to slow it down, and then running to the 50-meter board there, and again just a little bit of brake just to settle the car, and just very minded of Fraga at the moment, so I'm having to adjust accordingly and not necessarily braking and using the exact positions and gears that I would like to, because I do not want to run into the back of the car in front. This could be an overtaking opportunity into this corner, so I've moved out to the right hand side just to try and get the inside line. I broke a little bit earlier, just got a little bit of better rotation through there. Can I get on the power better? Not really. That didn't quite work out for us, so we need to get back into the slipstream, see if we can get a toe down here. And we're just coming up to complete lap number 3, so lots and lots of time. We're just under 8 seconds away from the leaders at the moment, so whilst I'm concentrating very much on the car in front and making this move, and we've got a nice run under slipstream here, we can go out to the right. Now can we keep that momentum all the way down into this very, very tight right-hander? As you can see, I'm just watching for the board, so around about the 150-meter board, just a little bit before there, I hit the brake pedal, got it turned in using these hatchings, run out to the outside, third gear still, just a little bit of brake to steady the car as you go through that second right-hander of that complex, and then up through the gears. As we come underneath the bridge, we're just thinking about going to the left slightly, still in fourth gear, just adjusting the throttle accordingly as we need to, up into fifth, and again just feathering the throttle, braking at the beginning of the little white blocked marks there. That tends to be the area where I like to brake as we go through there. And as we go underneath this bridge, again just a little bit of brake just to balance the car. As we come out to this one, looking for the 50-meter board, again just a small amount of brake just to balance the car. Could probably go through there flat, but I like to just be off the throttle on the brake and just taking it a little bit easy. I think if you went through there full throttle, it would be a little bit of a handful and a real risk to hit the wall, which is something that I really didn't want to do at the moment. And we're reeling in the number 2 car at the moment, so braking at the beginning of those white marks again, just getting it really slowed down. We got an opportunity to go up the inside on the second part of the corner. The Nissan went slightly wide, and that gave us a really beautiful opportunity to take second place. And now we've got some clean, fresh air. 6.5 seconds to the car in front. So the time has been coming down. I think we're about 9 seconds a little while ago. So that time is dropping quite nicely, but we are going to need to push on. You'll notice that the wear on the tyres is minimal, so we don't have to worry about that too much. And at the moment I've only used a quarter of a tank, so we're looking pretty good on fuel as well. So all said and done, we can just really go for it. So again, just before the 150 meter board on that one, and before you get that little bump as you go up the hill, third gear through here, just drifting out to the left so we can get a nice sweep around this corner in third gear, just using the hatchings. No penalty for going over those, you can use those as much as you like. As we go underneath the bullet bridge, just coming off the accelerator, balancing it a little bit now. I've got a little bit more confidence in this car, so I'm not reaching for the brake pedal quite so much, but I am balancing the throttle through here. Braking a little bit just at the beginning of those white dotted marks on the road, that tended to be my reference point there. As we go through here, I'm just going to come off the accelerator slightly, just a small amount of brake as we run under the bridge, just to get the car rotated and turned around. And then 50 meter board again off the accelerator, just a slight amount of brake just to help the car, just to keep that confidence. And the 50 meter board there, I just came off of the accelerator, slight amount of brake again. It's a very small amount of brake that I'm very often putting in here, which is just balancing the car a little bit. It's putting a bit of the weight on the front tyres. It's giving you just that little bit more grip and leverage to get the car rotated, and that's more what I think that braking is about. It's just a very small amount, just to really get the car settled down, and I tended to find that worked really well for me. So I will let this video run the full length. You can obviously speed it up and skip around if you wish. But for those of you that just want to see the whole of this race from start to finish, I'm just going to let it run. But we're in some clean air at the moment. The second place runner has just pitted, and looks like they were on sport softer tyres. I like the sport medium because it gave us the opportunity to continue to run to the end without pitting. So unexpectedly, that has just given us the lead of the race on lap 6, so we're only halfway through, and now we're into a situation with a drying track where we just really need to make sure that we keep it in the dry line. So the dry line is the darker line on the track, so keep it on the dry line and just see if we can bring this home in one piece. I actually just said the darker part of the track, of course it's the lighter part of the track, the dry line. Just needed to correct myself very briefly there. I'm getting too excited with having this first position, and just really surprised to see that we are already 9 seconds ahead of the second place runner. So this Aston Martin with this setup, with these tyres, is an absolute dream for this particular race. And you can see that I'm actually pulling away, even on the hard settings, I'm pulling away from the cars behind at quite a rate, up to 11 seconds now as we head towards this hairpin right, one of the tightest corners that I think there is in Gran Turismo. Just try and hit those two apexes, and although it's a double right-hander, it's I'm calling it a hairpin, and it is really tight, but it is almost like a double right-hander. I treat that as one corner, I treat it as one hairpin. So you're looking to try and get an arc where you're apexing the two corners, but treat it as just one single corner, one single movement. And I tend to find that I can make some good time up through there. So as we head down towards the end of this very long straight, it looks like we've got another car that is pitting. Again, another runner that was on the sports soft. We've got another one pitting that was on medium. So we have got a bit of a mix of tyres that the AI is running. And I've lost a little bit of speed there. I think that we were up to around about 10 or 11, but you can see I've just nudged the wall ever so slightly there, which is not good. But clearly there is a pretty quick car on that straight, because whilst we are making up some time through this twisty part, and I say that, he's just taken another chunk of time out of me, it looked like he was quick, or she, but that car was quick down the straight, and I thought that I was quicker through the twisty bit. But for the moment, we're just managing the gap, and with a 9 to 10 second lead at this stage, whilst we need to continue to push, the one thing that I really want to do is to maintain that gap. So it's not necessarily a case of going for it at every corner, wringing the neck of the car through every single part of the track. It's more a case of settling down, bringing the car home and managing the gap. Of saying that, we've just pushed the gap out to 12.4 seconds. We've gone way deep into there, far too deep. That is likely to cost us. So we've actually got the gap out to just over 12 seconds, and I wouldn't be surprised if that now starts to drop. It might be that the tyres have gone off on the car behind. It could be they've had a bit of an incident. So I'm quite surprised that we're still sitting at what is now 13 seconds ahead. It could be that they were running a higher power level and have had to reduce it for fuel. All sorts of reasons why they might have backed off slightly. And as I say that, they dive into the pits. They were on sport medium tyres. I wouldn't have thought that those tyres would be wearing out, so I can only imagine that they are pitting because of fuel reasons. Some of them do tend to be taking on quite a bit of fuel, so I suspect that they may well be fuel reasons. Issues that we don't have in this Aston Martin. It seems to have a pretty big tank, but that's now put us a colossal 25 seconds ahead of the second placed runner. And I'll remind you that we are running this race on the hard settings, so I'm really amazed, and I continue to be amazed that Racing the AI were able to build up these huge margins using the right car with the right strategy. Now, whether that is going to continue to build, because obviously they will be on fresher tyres than we are, and although our tyres are still looking pretty good, you will have noticed that just recently I have kissed the wall on a few occasions. That is an indicator that maybe some of the grip is being given up on the car, or maybe I am just trying to push harder. But the last lap was a 2:13, which isn't exactly pushing quickly. The 2:12 was reasonably okay. 2:11.8 is my fastest, so I haven't backed off massively. But one of the things I need to learn to do, especially when I start going online, one of the things I really need to do is to manage the gap rather than going for it all of the time. If you are on it all of the time and you're really pushing all of the time, there is an opportunity for you to outbrake yourself, outdrive yourself, get yourself into a spin, and then that margin that you have can disappear very quickly. So we still need to be pushing on, still need to be driving quickly, but just respecting some of the curves a little bit more, introducing the acceleration a bit more smoothly and a little bit more progressively, and just keep everything all very nice, and just getting into a rhythm, really. You're looking for that rhythm, just where it just all comes together. The race is coming to you, the track is coming to you, the conditions are going your way. You know, everything is just where you need it. It's beautiful when you get that feeling. And normally when I'm driving this track, I am bashing the barriers quite a bit. In this particular car, it handles really, really nicely around here. You can lay the car into some of these corners beautifully, and it just, even though we're on the sports tyres, it just sticks. It's also just a little bit of sliding here and there, which is really nice for a little bit of rotation. You can see that I'm still getting a little bit too close to the walls at times, but we're getting away with that for the moment. So looking for that apex, and again, as I said before, just try and treat that as one big corner, and then that works quite nicely. So the fastest lap is Gallo with a 2:09. Now our fastest lap is a 2:11.8, so basically a 2:12. So we are significantly off of Gallo's time, yet they could quite easily be running with soft tyres. It could be a little bit quicker. They could have been doing a little bit of slipstreaming. There's all sorts of reasons why that time would be so much quicker than us. But as I said at the beginning of this race, this video is not about getting the fastest lap, getting clean race bonuses or anything like that. The number one priority is to get that gold trophy, and all we need to do to get that gold trophy is to finish in first place. And at the moment, with Gallo pitting for tyres, that is going to now put us 39 seconds ahead. That's outrageous. 39 seconds ahead of the best of the rest on the hard settings for this particular race. Or just caught the barrier again. We're just going to kiss it ever so slightly on the exit as well there, as the car just got a little bit out of shape. So I am still pushing on. Really haven't learnt to back off, I don't think, and we've you can see there the last two laps, which is really nice. We got a 2:11.9. In fact, we've got 2:11.93 and a 2:11.93. So 1/1000th of a second between those two lap times. That's unreal. It still amazes and surprises me that an average racer, a complete amateur, a complete wannabe like me, can be doing a 2:11 lap and still putting it tenths, hundredths, now thousandths of a second between lap times. I wish that I could be more consistent and do that every time on all of my laps. Unfortunately, consistency is something that I do need to work on. But I do love it when you see really close times like that. It's quite heartwarming. So let's just take stock of where we are as we start lap number 11, so the penultimate lap. We are 43 seconds ahead of the second place runner. All of the other cars have stopped, so they've all got revised fuel loads, and they've also got newer tyres than we have. Our tyres are showing some significant wear, but nothing that we really need to worry about at the moment. We are still between quarter and half full, so plenty of fuel, no worries whatsoever on the tyres and fuel at the moment, other than to just feel how the car is behaving as we do lose some of the grip in the tyres. So it is a case of continuing to read the car and react to what the car is telling you. Big hit on the wall there, playing pinball off of those two. That would have cost us some time. Alas, we are so far ahead, it's not going to make too much of a difference, but we don't want to be bouncing off of these curbs really, unless we absolutely have to. So we're just coming through the latter stages of this lap. We are closing on a back marker in front of us. Will we get to the back marker before the hairpin? I don't think so. So that will be nice if they clear the hairpin before we get there, and then hopefully we might be able to potentially pick up a slipstream on the long straight. I might be a little bit too far back, but we can but hope. So at this stage, as we head down onto this long straight to finish the lap 11 and to start our final lap, we still haven't quite managed to catch that car in front. So there is a start and finish. This is the final lap. We're still well off the fastest lap time. Really not worrying about that right now. I just really want to continue to push on and make sure that we bring this car home in one piece and with a nice race win. This track does tend to frustrate me from time to time, especially like there where I just can't keep it out of the barriers and the car is sliding around a little bit. We did have a nice period midway through this race where we were staying out of the barriers, and it was nice to watch. It was even better to drive it. But right now we are starting to get a little bit tired, and what are we? It's a 25-minute race so far. This is the last lap, so almost 30 minutes of really hard driving around a very twisty and tight circuit, but also with the very, very long straight. Has taken quite some concentration, and I do remember when I had got to this stage in the race that I was starting to feel it. Still, we pulled a move on that marker, that back marker there. Just getting it turned in, using the hatchings again. Just bring it back to the right a little bit, just so we can get a better angle on this, on that corner. Really, I should have been over a lot further, but you'll notice that I'm leaving my car more central in the track, because with a 40+ second lead, there really is no need to keep on hitting the walls, making work for our body shop, but also slowing us down. At this stage, it'd be really nice if we could keep the 45 seconds ahead. It looks like we might do, because that's actually going up. Could we even make 50? I think that's going to be a little bit of an ask, but it looks like we're going to come across the line in a 1:46.7ish, something like that for that particular race. A nice easy race win in the Aston Martin DP-100 VGT. Perfect car with the sports medium tyres. Needed to just adjust the settings slightly. We've got a clean race bonus as well, which is great, and that massive 825,000 credits for what was a very, very easy race. Now, one of the things I didn't mention is I had tried several different cars for this particular race, and I was really struggling. Either cars were going away from us through the curvy parts, or I just couldn't keep control of the car going quickly enough, or they were running away from me down this fast straight. Finding a car that will keep up with the best of the rest on this fast straight and overtake them was absolute key, and for me, this Aston Martin is the go-to car for this race every single time. So there we have it, this one. I've basically got 3 laps now for grinding. Can introduce this one into the mix, but we've also got Le Mans 24-hour race, which gives you some wet racing experience as well. That tends to be a dry wet race normally, and then my favourite, which is Sardegna. That one seems to give me the biggest buck for my time, although this one comes close. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for now. Thank you ever so much for watching. I really appreciate your time. If you're new around here, please hit the subscribe button I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers before Christmas, and it would be fantastic if you could help me. It doesn't cost a penny, but it means oh so much. If you could hit that like button as well, that will really help the channel. And thank you ever so much to the growing number of regular subscribers that regularly watch my videos and comment. It's brilliant. I'm really grateful to all of you, and I've been live streaming a little bit this week, and already some of you are catching me up on the live stream, offering me some fantastic advice. And I was glad to get these World Circuit races out of the way before I started live streaming with the daily races, because the racing is so different. The AI cars are so predictable, whereas racing real people isn't. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. I will see you again very soon. Take care. Bye bye.